What is going on, guys, out there in YouTube land? I am Dustin. Nice to meet you guys. How you doing out there? But for a while, guys, I was wondering, like, what can I do with this channel? You know, it's got a bunch of random stuff on it, bunch of things that pique my interest: firearms, tattoos, agriculture, horticulture. And I thought I'd add all that, but I'd also add a twist. So, I have two channels here on YouTube. One's called A Connoisseur's Life, one's called Two Buds in a Jar. You can check both of them out if you'd like. But this channel particularly, I want to get monetized because I love making content. I'm a very creative person, and this is where I belong. You know, it sure as hell ain't at a gas station clocking in for a 9 to 5 job, because look at me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to the video. I'm going to take this and make it into a vlog channel. So let's start first things first. Where did I start off at and where did I end up? Okay. Well, where I started off was in a ghetto town, and I mean, this place was rampant. Rampant with drugs, rampant with dope whores, rampant with drama, rampant with trash. Not only as humans that were inhabiting the place, but also on the streets. There was needles, there was clothes, there was bags. Every building was broke down and decrepit. No one had any business knew what they were doing. And the whole place was just a giant shit show. Well, I moved out here because at the time it was the only 2-bedroom apartment that was available. And I was like, you know, optimistic. I was living in a 1-bedroom small loft apartment. And I'm like, you know what? I'll go ahead and move. Why not? Well, damn, was that a horrible idea, and let me tell you why. So I get to this place, right? We move in, and first thing that goes wrong is somebody's knocking on my door as soon as I wake up at 9:30. It's some drunk, drugged out woman I've never met before, never dated her, never slept with her, have no idea who she is. She's outside knocking on my door trying to get in. Tell me she left her pipe in there. So I had to call the cops on her to get her the hell off my property because she was smoking cigarettes outside my apartment. It smelled like ass and ashtray. Well, after the cops removed her, her vehicle stayed on the property, okay, for several months. And then she finally got out of jail and picked it up, essentially. Okay? I'm trying to get a good angle here with this light not beaming in, but my lighting sucks. I apologize. So anyway, we do that, and that happens. Then things progressively start getting worse and worse with the apartment. The air conditioner takes a shit. So I have to install 2 air conditioners, one in the front and one in my grow room, you guessed it. So I do that, and after that, things are still going shitty. I wake up one morning and there's water dripping from the ceiling onto my toilet because there's a hole and a crack and mold in the ceiling. So after seeing that, I get a hold of the maintenance people. They never come to fix anything. I have to end up calling the city on this apartment complex in order for them to get out there and do fucking anything. And then the bullshit begins. And the bullshit is 2 neighbors I have. They have 2 kids, 2 little girls, and 1 baby, 1 dog, and them. Now, that sounds like a good old happy fucking family, don't it? Well, let me tell you, it was anything but. So, within the course of 1 month in September, they had the police called on them 33 fucking times. Now, keep in mind, I only called them 3 times out of the 33. So, you know, somebody else called 30 times on them. They were constantly leaving their kids by themselves, arguing, fighting, drunk, slamming stuff, breaking stuff, screaming at the kids at the top of their lungs, screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. This went on for 90 days straight. 90 days, 3 months I lived there. I got to the point where I just couldn't do it no more. They drove me absolutely insane. Every day when I was filming content for 2 channels, I got about 3-4 hours of sleep. All I wanted to do was sleep for 8 hours those 3 months. That's all I wanted in life, was just 8 hours of full uninterrupted sleep. No fucking kids screaming, no dogs barking, no dogs climbing at the cage and clawing at the cage and the floor and whining because they were above me. Now, they took all these dogs in and they couldn't afford to feed their kids or themselves. And essentially, what they did was sell them. So they'd get them from Facebook Marketplace, certain breeds and shit, and then they would sell them. And then I'd have to hear the bullshit, the clawing, the whining, the noise, the slamming. Their kids sounded like crash dummies. They never corrected them. They would slam, scream around all day. They had a baby that cried all day long, every day. It never stopped. It never stopped. Now, you know, coming from somebody that's been around people that are parents and do have kids, a baby should not scream all day long. It just shouldn't happen. Something's wrong if that's happening. It's pretty common sense. Now, I think those watching that have kids could agree. You know, a baby shouldn't be crying. I mean, babies typically cry if something's wrong or they need something. That's how they communicate, essentially. But this was all day, every day, all day fucking long. And it's enough to drive you crazy. So I got to the point where I'd wake up every day early in the morning because they'd wake up at 9 o'clock and begin banging around, screaming at each other, and I'd just blare music each and every day. Now, we're not talking just turning it up. We're talking about ear-shattering, glass-shattering volumes, heavy metal, rap music, anything that drowned them the fuck out because I was tired of hearing them, essentially. Well, not going to lie, told the guy upstairs to keep it down, and he came down to my door drunk, wanting to fight, and we did almost get into a physical altercation. But then it hit me, right before I hit him. I sat there and thought, I was like, well, maybe I should move. You know, that way I don't have to deal with these idiots, their kids, their dog, them fighting, the police there 24/7. You know, keep in mind, I mean, every time you walked out your door, there were police presence. 2-3 cars every damn time, and it was always for them. Nobody else but them. They constantly called it on each other. They constantly made up stories about abusing their children, or, you know, one time they made up a story about she threw the baby down on the floor and hit him, and that never happened. Like, they would call the cops and make up shit on each other, you know. So, after our altercation, I about knocked his teeth out, I'm not going to lie. You know, why sugarcoat shit? They drove me fucking crazy. You know, after that, you know, I decided to move. Well, I couldn't do it no more. I wanted the hell out of there. So I got a 26-foot U-Haul. 24, 26-foot U-Haul, I can't remember. It holds like 3 bedrooms worth of stuff. Supposedly, you guys, if you want to, you know, go on U-Haul and check it out. It's a 24, 26-foot U-Haul. I packed about 8 years worth of my life into the back of that U-Haul in one day. I had 3 other friends that helped me, and we all managed to accomplish it in one day, and I got the fuck out of there. Away from them. I'm not the type of person that likes drama. I absolutely deplore drama. I don't care what's going on in people's lives. I don't agree with violence to a degree unless it's absolutely necessary, and very rarely is it ever. And they're just domestically violent all the time toward each other. And I didn't want to live into an environment like that because, I'm more sensible of a person. I use my brain before I use my fist or, my mouth in vulgarity. Um, so it just was not an environment for me. So I moved essentially. Now, where I moved to was a town I used to live 10, 11 years ago. Every time I move back to this town, my life falls into place. Every time I move out of this town and I'm like, oh, this is cool or this or that, and I move out of this town, my life goes to hell. I mean, it just does, whether it's the wrong people I meet and talk to or it's my neighbors I move into. I don't know who the hell, or what the hell, but it seems like every time I move out of this town, something essentially goes wrong, right? So I moved back in this town, ended up getting a job at a head shop. It didn't pay a whole lot. It paid like $11 an hour. It sucked. The job was great. Some of the employees were absolute shit. My general manager was fucking weird. That's another story for another day. I'll tell you all about that, and you guys will see why and agree, I'm sure. But I moved here. I managed to move everything, and we had an upstairs apartment, go figure. So we moved a 26-foot U-Haul with a shit ton of stuff in there, all upstairs into a 1-bedroom larger apartment because that's all that was available at the time in this town, and we did not care. I didn't care. I wanted out of there. So I was like, hell yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. So I got in this 1-bedroom apartment, got all my stuff moved in, ended up working at a head shop, and then quit that job because it was absolutely garbage. I worked, if this gives you an idea of how garbage that job was, I'm going to let you on a little personal information. I worked 67 hours and got $594. Which sucks, big time, considering my rent alone is like $876. So, you work 2 weeks, it's not even enough to cover, your bills or your rent, let alone you work all month, and that's probably just enough to cover your rent and bills. That's if you make enough money. So that place sucked. So I'm currently looking for a different job, because none of these jobs in this town really pay what it should, and the ones that do pay a lot are absolutely miserable. You're talking about like factory work, and I like being in retail because I like people, I like talking to people, I like helping people, I like teaching people things. So with that being said, that's what I'm looking into. Now, we went ahead and moved, I did half of my stuff to storage. Because it would not fit in the smaller 1-bedroom apartment. I managed to get my grow tent up, is what you see behind me, AC Infinity. That's for the other channel that I got going, and I had to get it up because that is my content solely. If you haven't checked out Two Buds in a Jar and you're interested in that kind of thing, go over to Two Buds in a Jar and check it out. This is going to be more of a vlog channel. It's going to be more monetizable, because I created a channel called Two Buds in a Jar about 3 years ago, and it gathered about 800,000 views and about 6,000 subscribers, but it is not monetizable by YouTube because YouTube hates the type of content I create over there. So trying to make better content over here for YouTube anyway. Everybody that subscribes over to Two Buds in a Jar really enjoys the content, but YouTube does not. So that's the goal with this here. I'm trying to get a monetizable channel. Now, there will be a lot of stuff on a channel. It won't be just me sitting down talking with you guys. But I wanted to kind of give you guys, a look into my life. And just because I moved to a new apartment you know, things were great and things got kind of shitty too. There's a few days I got off work and came home to no hot water because the way this apartment's designed, the hot water tank was fucked up. And I had to go to a truck stop for 3 days and shower. $18 a shower, that's always fun, you know. So I did that. They finally got that fixed, and then my shower completely took a shit. And they remodeled the entire bathroom, which you'll see on this channel. They remodeled the entire bathroom, brand new. And we got that done out of the way. So now that this apartment's more sustainable and livable, because they should have done this shit and remodeled it all before we moved in, that would have been a great idea. And then I had to clean this apartment too, because the floors were so dirty, if you walked on it barefoot, your feet were black. So I had to put bleach, Lysol, Febreze, all that. I had to take all my extra shit that wouldn't fit in this apartment and move it to my storage, because when I noticed I needed a storage, basically it was a path from one room to the other, and there's three rooms in here entirely, not including a hallway and a bathroom. But each room had a small path, and I'm a big guy, I'm wide. You know, I weigh about 245 pounds, and I'm 6'1". I'm just wide-shouldered, big, broad-chested. I'm like a bull in a china shop. So that was horrible. Not to mention, when you first move into a place, you're getting ready for each and every day, and you're like, where's this? Where did I put this? Where's this stuff? Where's my shorts? Where's my clothes? Where's my cologne? You know, where did I put all this stuff? You know, so that's always fun. So we got all of that stuff done, well, I did. And then I started working on this channel, both of them, really hard, honestly. I started working on A Connoisseur's Life. You know, it's a branch channel from Two Buds in a Jar. I figured it would be a great insight and then look into the content creator. A lot of times when people create channels, they put on a mask and they get in front of the camera and they act like whoever the hell, you know, the audience wants them to act like. And I thought this would be a good way to show you guys the real person behind Two Buds in a Jar, the person behind A Connoisseur's Life. And this channel will eventually gain traction. It will eventually gain views and eventually gain subscribers, as much as Two Buds in a Jar did. And with that being said, I want you guys to be able to be like, look, this is who I like, this is who I subscribe to, this is who I watch, you know, give you kind of an in look of my life and let you know what's going on. I warn you, it isn't always beautiful rainbows and butterflies. It's more like a tragic, slow train wreck that has some lights at the end of the tunnel. But welcome to my life, and this is the first vlog. I'll be downloading more, letting you guys know more about this story. So far I moved out of the shitty place, bunch of stuff happened there, moved to a newer place, and minor things are happening here that aren't too bad or too hard to figure out, just normal life things, you know. So I'm going to close out this video, and then I will be back talk more about my life and show you guys more aspects. I will be doing more videos in different places. It's just right now where I live, the weather's horrible. It's pouring down rain, it's lightning, it's thundering. It's going to do that all week, so we're going to have some indoor videos, guys. Until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you again on A Connoisseur's Life.